Good evening. I'm Reverend Russ Mink, serving as the sabbatical minister until the end of May, when your settled minister, the Reverend Ellen Sparrow, returns from her very well-deserved sabbatical. Welcome to our Tenebrae Service. Tenebrae means into the darkness. The purpose of this service is to remind us of the ancient story about the joy that came from Easter. For you, that may be the resurrection of Jesus or the beginning of spring. As Jesus' ministry on earth was nearing the end, the time was very, very dark. A time of fear, confusion, despair by the men and women who were followers of Jesus. A time of a lack of hope. The Easter story makes much more sense when we participate in and follow that ancient path of darkness before seeing what happened on Easter morning and the joy of that. Tonight we will take ourselves through this story of the last day and night of Jesus' life, using the ancient readings from the Bible and the modern readings and blessings to bring some hope to our current world. And our current world is hurting and filled with fear, confusion, and despair. After each reading, a candle will be extinguished, and the increasing darkness is a metaphor for the confusion, fear, and despair that Jesus and his followers felt on the last days. When a chime rings, that will be an invitation for the congregation to sing the response, which is in the order of worship. Now, I invite you all to just center yourselves. If you're comfortable, both here and at home, please put your feet on the ground and the floor. If you're comfortable, just take in a very deep breath and slowly let it out. Let us walk through this ancient story together and explore what meanings the story can reveal to us today. We begin in the upper room on the last night of Jesus' life.
The Last Supper. Ancient witness, Mark chapter 14, verses 22 to 25. While they were eating, he took a loaf of bread, and after blessing it, he broke it and gave it to them and said, "Take, this is my body." Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them, and all of them drank from it. He said to them, "This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many."
The modern witness, blessing the bread, the cup. Let us bless the bread that gives itself to us with its terrible weight, infinite grace. Let us bless the cup poured out for us with a love that makes us anew. Let us gather around these gifts, simply given and deeply blessed. And then let us go bearing the bread, carrying the cup, laying the table within a hungering world.
In the Garden of Gethsemane, ancient witness, Mark 14, 32 to 40. They went to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took with him Peter and James and John, and began to be distressed and agitated. And he said to them, "I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and keep awake." And going a little farther, he threw himself on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He said, "Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me, yet not what I want, but what you want." He came and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, "Simon, are you sleeping? Could you not keep awake 1 hour? Keep awake and pray that you might not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." And again he went away and prayed, saying the same words. And once more he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy, and they did not know what to say to him.
And the modern witness reading, blessing for staying awake. Even in slumber, even in dreaming, even in sorrow, even in pain, awake, awake, awake my soul to the one who keeps vigil at all times for you.
Ancient Witness, Mark chapters 14, verses 43 to 50. Immediately while he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived, and with him there was a crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I will kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard." So when he came, he went up to him at once and said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. Then they laid hands on him and arrested him. But one of those who stood near drew his sword and struck the slave of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Then Jesus said to them, "Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me, as though I were a bandit? Day after day I was with you in the temple teaching, and you did not arrest me. But let the scriptures be fulfilled." All of them deserted him and fled.
Modern witness, blessing the chaos. To all that is chaotic in you, let there come silence. Let there be a calming of the clamoring, a stilling of the voices that have laid their claim on you, that have made their home in you, that go with you even to the holy places, but will not let you rest, will not let you hear your life with wholeness, or feel the grace that fashioned you. Let what distracts you cease. Let what divides you cease. Let there come an end to what diminishes and demeans, and let depart all that keeps you in its cage. Let there be an opening into the quiet that lies beneath the chaos, where you find the peace you did not think possible, and see what shimmers inside the storm.
The last day, crucifixion. The first candle. Ancient witness in the book of Mark, chapter 15, verses 22 through 24. Then they brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of a skull, and they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him and divided his clothes among them, casting lots to decide what each should take.
Modern witness, blessing in a time of violence, part 1. Which is to say, this blessing is always. Which is to say, there is no place that this blessing does not long to cry out in lament, to weep its words in sorrow, to scream its lines in sacred rage. Which is to say, there is no day this blessing ceases to whisper in the ear of the dying, the despairing, the terrified. Which is to say, there is no moment this blessing refuses to sing itself into the heart of the hated, the hateful, the victim and the victimizer, with every last ounce of hope it has.
The ancient witness from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 15, verses 25 through 30. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when they crucified him. The inscription of the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." And with him they crucified 2 bandits, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by derided him, shaking their heads and saying, "Aha! You who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself and come down from the cross."
The modern witness, blessing in the time of violence, part 2. Which is to say, there is none that can stop it, none that can halt its course, none that will still its cadence, none that will delay its rising, none that can keep it from springing forth from the mouths of us who hope, from the hands of us who act, from the hearts of us who love. From the feet of us who will not cease our stubborn, aching marching, until this blessing has spoken its final word, until this blessing has breathed its benediction in every place, in every time. Peace, peace, peace.
Ancient witness, Mark 15, verses 33 to 34. When it was noon, darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m. At 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?
And the modern witness, in the breath, another breathing. Let it be that on this day we will expect no more of ourselves than to keep breathing with the bewildered cadence of lungs that will not give up the ghost. Let it be we will expect little but the beating of our heart, stubborn in its repeating rhythm that will not cease to sound. Let it be we will still ourselves enough to hear what may yet come to echo, as if in the breath, another breathing, as if in the heartbeat, another heart. Let it be we will not try to fathom what comes to meet us in the stillness, but simply open to the approach of a mystery we hardly dared to dream.
Ancient reading, Mark chapter 15, verses 35 and 36. When some of the bystanders heard it, they said, "Listen, he's calling for Elijah." And someone ran, filled a sponge with sour wine, put it on a stick, and gave it to him to drink, saying, "Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to take him down."
Modern witness, what abides for Good Friday? You will know this blessing by how it does not stay still, by the way it refuses to rest in one place. You will recognize it by how it takes first one form, then another. Now running down the face of the mother who watches the breaking of the child she had borne. Now in the stance of the woman who followed him here and will not leave him bereft. Now it twists in anguish on the mouth of the friend whom he loved. Now it bears itself in the wound, the cry, the finishing and final breath. This blessing is not in any one of these alone. It is what binds them together. It is what dwells in the space between them, though it be torn and gaping. It is what abides in the tear the rending makes.
Ancient witness, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 15, verse 37. Then Jesus gave out a loud cry and breathed his last. Would you please join me singing hymn number 265, Rise in Body or Spirit, and let us sing together, 265, O Sacred Heart, now wounded.
From the Ancient Witness, from Mark 15, verses 38 and 39. And the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. Now, when the centurion who stood facing him saw that in this way he breathed his last, he said, "Truly this man was God's Son."
Modern witness for Good Friday. This day let all stand still in silence. In sorrow, sun and moon be still. Earth be still. Still the waters. Still the wind. Let the ground gape in stunned lamentation. Let it weep as it receives what it thinks it will not give up. Let it groan as it gathers the one who was thought forever stilled. Time be still. Watch and wait.
Ancient Witness, Mark, chapter 15, verses 38 to 39. Oops. Chapter 15, verses 40 to 41. Sorry. There were also women looking on from a distance. Among them were Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James the Younger, and of Joseph and Salome. These used to follow him and provide for him when he was in Galilee, and there were many other women who had come up with him from Jerusalem to Jerusalem.
Modern witness, therefore I will hope. Excuse me. I have no cause to linger beside this place of death, no reason to keep vigil where life has left. And yet I cannot go, cannot bring myself to cleave myself from here, can only pray that this waiting might yet be a blessing, and this grieving yet a blessing, and this stone yet a blessing, and this silence yet a blessing still.
Peace be with you all.